Recent rains across Nebraska have caused flooding in many parts of the state. The common question that comes is, what do I do with a flooded vegetable garden? The answer depends on many factors. It depends on the type of flooding that was involved, the severity of the flood, and then also the types of vegetables that were involved in the flooding. There are two common types of flooding. The first type of flooding happens when the rain comes so fast and the soil is so saturated that it's not able to soak up any more water, and it just pools on the soil surface. This can cause damage to plant, and it can cause death to plants, but it rarely leads to contamination of the plant material. The second type of flooding is caused by runoff from rivers and stream overflow. This type of flooding can also cause death to plants and can cause them to grow a little bit slower, but it can also lead to contamination of the produce as well. The common question is, how long can plants survive underwater? If it's under 48 hours, most vegetable garden plants are not going to see a significant reduction in yields. If it's 48 to 72 hours, you'll notice a significant reduction in yields of that produce. The next question is, what can be done with these plants? The most conservative answers is to remove any plant material that came in contact with floodwaters, especially those floodwaters that came from rivers and stream overflow. Now, this may seem a little drastic to some, but this is something that we want to do to decrease the contamination of the overflow and of that runoff onto those vegetable crops. Any crop where the edible portion of the plant came in direct contact with the floodwaters has the potential risk of health if consumed. Discard all the produce that was touched by the floodwaters that is normally consumed raw and was ripe at the time of the flood, like lettuce, spinach, radish, and other leafy greens. Other crops can be salvaged depending on the stage of maturity and the relationship to the soil. A 90-day pre-harvest interval is recommended for produce whose edible portion does not come in direct contact with the soil. A 120-day pre-harvest interval for produce whose edible portion does come in direct contact with the soil will help to decrease the contamination left over that's on the soil. Underground vegetables like potatoes that are still in early growth stages should be safe to eat if allowed to grow to maturity. Late season vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant that result in flowers that were put on with new growth after the flood occurred should be considered safe. Be sure to wash them well and peel them if possible. There's still time to replant many vegetable crops yet this season if you're looking for a productive vegetable garden if you were hit by flooding.